All right, so you're prepping for a telecommunications equipment maintainer interview. Sounds pretty cool. It's a field that's really taken off right now.
Yeah, it's definitely booming.
And you've got all these resources from RoleCatcher to help you get ready.
That's right.
Career guides and interview guides, and they even have some really neat AI stuff that can help you fine-tune your application.
Yeah, their AI is super helpful.
So our mission in this deep dive is to give you the knowledge and the confidence to absolutely crush that interview.
Exactly. We want you to walk in there feeling prepared and ready to impress.
So let's kick things off by really understanding what a telecommunications equipment maintainer does.
Sure.
I mean, it's got to be more than just fixing phones, right?
Oh, absolutely. It goes way beyond that.
Yeah.
You're responsible for keeping all sorts of radio transmitting and receiving equipment running smoothly. We're talking about cellular networks, broadband connections, even ship-to-shore communications.
Wow. So you're basically making sure that everything from emergency services to the entertainment we all love relies on these systems working perfectly.
Exactly. It's a big responsibility, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, no pressure. Right. So let's get into some of these big interview questions that RoleCatcher highlighted. What's the first one we should unpack?
Well, a question you're almost guaranteed to get is, what motivated you to pursue this career? It seems simple enough, but it's your chance to really showcase your passion.
Okay, so how do you answer that in a way that makes them sit up and take notice?
Well, instead of just saying you're interested in technology, dig a little deeper. What specifically sparked your interest in telecommunications? Were you fascinated by how signals travel? Or maybe it was the challenge of troubleshooting those complex network issues. Or perhaps you were inspired by someone you know working in the field.
Yeah, a personal story could really make an impact here.
Absolutely. Maybe you're that kid who was always tinkering with radios. Or maybe you helped a family member fix their internet connection. Sharing a story like that shows your early interests and your problem-solving skills, and it makes your answer memorable.
Makes sense. Now, what about follow-up questions? What if they ask you to elaborate on your problem-solving skills?
Be ready with specific examples from your past, even if they're not directly related to telecommunications. Did you captain a sports team? Or maybe you led a project at school? Or even solved some crazy logistical challenge at a part-time job? All those experiences show transferable skills. Leadership teamwork, critical thinking, all things that are super valuable in this field.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can be a real game changer, right?
Exactly. Their AI can look at job descriptions and figure out exactly what keywords and skills the employers are looking for, and then it'll suggest how to work those into your answers.
So it's like having a personal coach helping you highlight the most relevant parts of your experience.
That's the idea. You're not just answering the question, you're tailoring your response to what that specific employer is looking for.
So smart. Okay, we've tackled the why this career question. What's next?
Another common one is, how do you stay up to date with new developments in the telecommunications industry? It's all about showing that you're committed to lifelong learning.
Okay, so what are some good ways to stay current? What's going to impress an interviewer?
Be specific. Don't just say industry websites. Mention some reputable publications like Telecommunications Magazine or online forums where professionals talk about emerging trends. You could even bring up a recent development that caught your eye, like the advancements in 5G network slicing or Open RAN architecture.
So you're not just passively reading stuff, you're actively searching out new knowledge.
Exactly. You're genuinely curious about the field and you're eager to stay ahead of the curve. This is also where you can show off your initiative. Have you taken any online courses in fiber optics or attended any webinars on network security? Sharing those proactive efforts shows your dedication.
And once again, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answer to the specific job. If the description mentions 5G, their AI might suggest you highlight your 5G knowledge in your response.
That's right. It's about showing them that you're the perfect fit for what they need.
I love that. Okay, are you ready to tackle another tough question?
Bring it on.
I'm already feeling more confident. Let's hear it.
Okay, so let's look at a question that really puts your ability to handle pressure to the test.
Go.
How do you prioritize and manage your workload when you're dealing with multiple equipment issues all at the same time?
Oh, that's a good one.
This is where your organizational skills and your ability to think on your feet really come into play.
So it's not just about fixing things.
No.
It's about fixing the right things first.
Exactly. You've got to figure out what needs immediate attention and what can wait. Think back to a time when you were juggling a bunch of tasks all at once.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Maybe you were in the middle of troubleshooting a network outage, and then suddenly you've got a faulty radio transmitter on your hands too.
Nice.
How did you decide which one to tackle first?
Well, I guess I tried to figure out which one was causing the biggest problem at that moment.
That's a great starting point.
Okay.
You could mention using a priority matrix.
A priority matrix.
Yeah, it's a tool that helps you visualize and rank tasks based on how urgent they are and how much of an impact they have. You could even sketch out a simple matrix during the interview
Oh, that's a good idea.
just to illustrate your process.
Yeah, it shows them that you're organized and analytical.
Exactly.
And don't forget about communication.
Right.
You've got to be able to explain why you're prioritizing certain tasks over others.
Especially when you're working as part of a team.
For sure.
Hmm.
Okay, so they're also looking for someone who can stay calm under pressure.
Absolutely. They want to know that you can handle a stressful situation without losing your cool.
Makes sense.
All
All right, let's shift gears to a question that really focuses on your technical expertise.
Okay.
Could you describe a time when you faced a really challenging equipment issue and how you resolved it?
Ooh, this is your chance to shine.
It is.
Pick a story that really highlights your problem-solving skills, your technical knowledge, and your ability to think outside the box. Walk them through your thought process step by step.
Okay.
What were the initial symptoms? How did you diagnose the problem? What tools and techniques did you use?
And what if you hit a roadblock?
That's okay.
It's all right to talk about a time when you didn't immediately find the solution right.
Absolutely. What's important is that you show that you're persistent and that you're willing to learn from your mistakes.
Right.
Maybe you consulted some online resources or reached out to a colleague, or maybe you just kept experimenting with different approaches until something worked.
And this is also a great opportunity to show off your knowledge of specific technologies.
Exactly.
Did you use an OTDR to test fiber optic cables?
Yes.
Or did you analyze network traffic using a protocol analyzer?
Those details really demonstrate your technical skills.
They do. And don't forget tailoring your answer to the specific job requirements. RoleCatcher's AI can help you identify which technologies are mentioned in the job description, so you can weave those into your response.
Exactly.
It's like having a customized study guide for each interview.
I like that.
Right.
Okay, let's switch gears again and talk about a question that really emphasizes proactivity.
Okay.
How do you approach preventative maintenance and equipment monitoring?
So this is all about keeping things running smoothly
Yes. Before they break down.
before they become a problem.
Exactly. Talk about the importance of regular inspections testing and data analysis.
So you're not just fixing problems,
Well-
you're preventing them.
Precisely. Mention some specific tools and techniques that you use to monitor equipment performance.
Okay.
For example, you could talk about using network monitoring software to track bandwidth usage,
Okay.
or setting up alerts for potential issues.
That's smart.
And don't forget about the human element. Explain how you communicate with other teams or departments to coordinate maintenance activities.
Right, because communication is key.
Absolutely. Everyone needs to be on the same page to make sure that potential problems are addressed quickly.
Okay, so let's dive into some questions that are more focused on your specific technical skills and experience.
Okay.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes fiber optics and wireless networks. So how do you handle a question like, describe your experience with fiber optic networks?
Don't just say, I've worked with fiber optics, go deeper. Be prepared to discuss different fiber types like single mode and multi-mode,
Okay.
and common testing procedures like using an OTDR to check for faults.
And if you have any relevant certifications,
Yes.
like the ETA Fiber Optics Technician Certification.
Definitely mention those certifications show that you're committed to professional development and that you have expertise in specific areas.
They do. Okay, so what about wireless networks?
Right.
How would you answer? Describe your experience with wireless networks.
This is your chance to highlight your understanding of wireless technologies like Wi-Fi and cellular networks. Talk about your experience configuring and troubleshooting wireless access points, managing security settings, and optimizing signal strength.
And you could also mention any emerging trends you're familiar with.
Yes, like the transition to Wi-Fi 6 or the growing importance of private 5G networks.
Those are all great points.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about those softer skills.
True.
How do you approach a question like, how do you work with clients who may not have a technical background?
This question is all about your communication skills and your ability to explain complex things in a way that anyone can understand.
Right.
Think about a time when you had to explain a technical issue to a client who wasn't very tech-savvy. How did you break down the jargon and make sure they understood the problem and the solution?
It's all about empathy and patience.
Exactly.
You need to make them feel comfortable asking questions.
And active listening is crucial. Make sure you really understand their concerns before you start throwing technical terms around. It's so important. Okay, what about teamwork?
Okay.
How would you respond to something like, how do you approach working with colleagues from other departments or teams?
This is where you want to highlight your ability to collaborate effectively with people from different backgrounds and areas of expertise.
Mm.
Think about times when you've had to explain technical concepts to non-technical colleagues,
Okay.
or when you've had to work together to solve a problem that required input from multiple teams.
Yeah.
You could also mention using collaboration tools like project management software or online communication platforms.
And don't forget to emphasize your communication skills and your willingness to listen and learn from others.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we wrap up this section, let's revisit how RoleCatcher's AI can help you excel in these interview scenarios.
Yes. Let's.
RoleCatcher's AI goes beyond just analyzing job descriptions. It can also provide feedback on your interview answers,
Wow.
helping you refine your delivery and make sure your responses are clear, concise, and impactful.
It's like having a personal interview coach right there in your pocket. Exactly. It can even suggest different ways to phrase things or highlight areas where you could provide more specific examples.
That's amazing. Okay, so RoleCatcher's AI is designed to give you that extra edge and boost your confidence going into the interview.
That's the goal.
All right, so we're back and ready to dive into part 3 of our deep dive on acing the telecommunications equipment maintainer interview.
And in this final section, we're going to focus on a skill that's absolutely critical in this field, communication.
We've touched on it a bit throughout our conversation, but I think it deserves its own spotlight.
Absolutely. Effective communication is essential for anyone working as a telecommunications equipment maintainer. You're always interacting with colleagues, clients, and sometimes even the public. So you need to be able to explain these complex technical concepts to people who might not have a deep understanding of the technology.
So how can someone really demonstrate those strong communication skills during an interview?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to be mindful of your audience. Tailor your language and your explanations to their level of technical expertise. Imagine you're explaining fiber optics to someone who's never even heard of it before.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to overload them with all that technical jargon.
Exactly. Keep it simple. Use clear and concise language and try to avoid acronyms unless you've already explained what they mean.
Analogies and real-world examples can be really helpful, too.
Absolutely. They make things more relatable and easier to understand. For example, you could compare fiber optic cables to water pipes to illustrate how light signals travel.
Oh, that's a good one. And what about active listening? I mean, it's not just about being able to explain things clearly. It's also about making sure you're really understanding what the other person is saying.
You're absolutely right. You need to pay attention to the interviewer's questions and make sure you're addressing their specific concerns. Don't interrupt or try to steer the conversation in a different direction.
Right. It's about showing them that you're truly engaged and interested in what they have to say.
Exactly. And don't forget about nonverbal communication. Make eye contact, project confidence in your voice, and use positive body language.
Those things can make a big difference.
They really can. It all contributes to creating a positive and memorable impression. All right, so let's talk about some specific interview questions that might focus on your communication skills.
Okay.
A very common one is, can you describe a time when you had to explain a technical concept to someone who wasn't familiar with the technology?
Perfect example.
This is your chance to show them that you can simplify complex information and tailor your communication style to your audience.
Okay.
Think of a time when you had to explain something like a network outage or a software glitch to a client who didn't have a lot of technical knowledge. What strategies did you use to make it understandable?
Like, did you use analogies or visuals or step-by-step explanations?
Exactly. And what was the outcome? Were they able to grasp the issue and were they satisfied with your explanation? Another question you might get is, how do you handle conflicts or disagreements with colleagues?
Oh, good one.
This is all about showing them that you can communicate effectively even in challenging situations. You want to demonstrate that you can remain calm, professional, and solution-oriented even when there's conflict. Highlight your active listening skills, your willingness to see things from different perspectives, and your ability to find common ground.
And it's okay to talk about a time when you made a mistake in communication, right?
Of course. What matters is that you learned from it and that you can show how you've improved your skills as a result. Okay, so before we wrap up this entire deep dive, I want to emphasize one thing. Beyond all the technical skills and the interview prep, what truly sets exceptional telecommunications equipment maintainers apart is their passion for the field.
Couldn't agree more.
This is an industry that's constantly evolving, and there's always something new to learn. Embrace that curiosity and let your enthusiasm shine through during your interview.
Show them that you're not just looking for a job. You're looking to make a real contribution to this really dynamic and essential industry.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way. Their resources and those AI-powered tools can help you prepare for every aspect of the interview process, from refining your resume to practicing your answers.
So that's it for our deep dive into telecommunications equipment maintainer interviews. We hope you found it helpful, and we wish you the best of luck in your job search.
Good luck, and remember, approach your interview with confidence and that genuine passion for the field. You got this.